Scarface has been through, COVID and all the kidney transplant.
Yeah, man, it's good to see that he's healthy.
I'm just glad to see he's still here because he's been through a lot.
Can we give Scarface his flowers real quick for this Tiny Desk, man? His Tiny Desk was amazing. And we talked about on a previous episode how some of the OGs are aging. We talked about Blockbuster, right? Remember we had a discussion about that? It just shows you two different angles of this thing, because I saw a grown man with a live band performing classic records.
And still sounded the same.
Mike Dean on the keys, on the synth, took it over the moon to me. Singers, the backup singers. He was actually there when they were making those records. Yeah. So to see that come full circle, it's just dope seeing a legend aging gracefully. Like, now, if he did that and took that on the road, I'd be there for that.
This is a 100% true testament of why they did White Iverson didn't know what he was talking about when he said that hip hop has no depth or emotion.
Post Malone,
that guy.
Yeah,
because when you talk about Scarface in general, every one of his hits contain emotion and inflection and put you in it puts you there, put you in a place of reflection almost. Like every one of most of his songs, I'll say that because I can't say F Faces is one of those songs.
I got
but as a whole, Scarface is an artist that embodies that type of sound that can evoke emotion out of you. You know what I'm saying?
This performance highlights that more than I've seen, man, in a long time.
Because it's real music.
Exactly. You could see him getting excited and getting emotional about what Terry just said. He's like, man, there's something about that real music. He kept saying it over and over again. Because to the band's credit, I did not look at the credits, because on NPR they'll tell you who's on bass, who's on keys. But I knew Mike Dean was there. But man, the music, to hear that replayed, it was beautiful, bro. And the way that he delivered it, just flawless, man. So it goes exactly against everything that Post Malone said.
Look, I started seeing clips of it when I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I need to wait until at least the afternoon. I can't do this first thing in the morning, because Scarface his music has always had a very emotional hold over me.
That's how I would describe this Tiny Desk.
Absolutely.
I think I've said it on the show, if not maybe on or offline. I remember it wasn't that long ago I listened to This Can't Be Life.
Yeah.
Off of the Dynasty record. And just sometimes things hit you differently once you've been through certain things in your life. And I listened to that record and started crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when I first heard it, it was just a dope record. But I've lived a lot more life since then.
Yeah.
And I can relate to some of the feelings and the things that he's talking about in that record, and the things that I've had to experience, not only personally, but through my friends' losses and the things that they've had to go through.
Yeah.
And it just struck me one day, and I just couldn't stop crying.
Nah, you 100% correct, because when I heard him tell the actual story, about him in the studio and getting a call and all that, it's like, man, I've lived it long enough now to have received that call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it does hit different, Jay. Like the records that we grew up on, as we mature and we get older, they grow, like the meaning grows as well. It changes. So yes, I could easily see you getting teared up just going back to a certain time in your life. You got that call.
Absolutely.
So
even Smile does that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even without, the whole situation with Tupac being gone right after it was, right before it was released, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But just the message in that song, man, he has a lot of songs that do that, hands down.
Yeah.
So,
just My Block.
Yeah.
My Block.
Come on now.
It's real.
My Block is phenomenal.
And this is why sometimes, like, for the youngsters who are listening to us, this is why it's so hard for us to respect for what some of y'all are doing.
That's what I'm saying. And you know what? It's
not that there weren't people doing foolishness when we were out, but then we had Scarface to look to.
Thank you for saying that.
Scarface was a gangster at the end of the day.
Right.
And he still had heartfelt music. But this is what I think about when I see performances like this. Because this is about a 35 year career. Maybe even longer than that. Maybe in 40 years.
It's 30 plus.
Long time. But Ghetto Boys came out in like the late 80s.
80s, yeah.
But when I hear the newer stuff, and I hate to keep sounding like that old dude.
But that's what we are.
Yeah, at the end of the day. But how is that going to transcend when it comes time for them to do their Tiny Desk? Like, are you going to feel anything from that, or
it's going to feel like when Genius will have Scarface break down lyrics, and then they'll have like Sexy Red break down lyrics. It's like, I don't need a deep analytical dive into Sexy Red's lyrics. There's nothing deep going on here.
Right. Yeah.
But luckily so far, NPR has been there's been a lot of quality control.
Yeah.
In
I
that
wonder
Tiny Desk.
whoever is in charge of doing these Tiny Desks is doing an absolutely phenomenal job.
Absolutely.
I'll just say that.
And it was dope to hear. I never know what the audience consists of. I don't know if it's, some of the artists might be like, yo, I'm performing in DC. I got a Tiny Desk. They gave me X amount of tickets where y'all can come in. Or is it just the staff? Or is it just, I don't know if they do a raffle. I'm not sure. But it was so dope to see Scarface performing and hearing the crowd sing the lyrics back to him.
And actually getting on the bass.
Yeah, like he had the bass in his hand as well. And he also was conducting and pointing out and arranging, more, I need the snare here a little bit more. Can you play this way? Or let's turn this down, while he's talking to the crowd.
And playing the keys a little bit.
So that part of it made me respect him from a musician standpoint and from just the overall creative. Because it's deeper than just him going in there and telling the stories. You can see that Scarface is one with his music. That's what was on display here. That's why this was so dope. You know what I'm saying?
That's why he's one of the GOATs.
That's why he's one of the GOATs. I would definitely suggest this, but like Jay Moore said, don't play around with it. Like, just soak the whole thing up and actually watch it, in the right space or whatever that space is for you. Just let that thing run, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I was highly impressed. Might be the best one I've seen. I don't know. There's so many of them, though, and they go back so far.
No matter. We don't have to compare. But it was a good one.
It was a good one, man.
It stands on its own.
I haven't seen it all the way through. I only saw like a small bit.
Yeah, I watched the rest of it. But you
could tell what we talking about, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, if you weren't a fan, maybe it made you a fan. If you've been a fan like I have and spent money on this band's records, went to go see him last time he came to town.
Yeah, I've seen him a few times.
And Scarface has been through, COVID and all the kidney transplant.
Yeah, man, it's good to see that he's healthy.
Good. Yeah, I'm just glad to see he's still here because he's been through a lot.
Yep.
He brought his son out too.
He spoke highly of his son's musical talent. He said that he's better than him.
And Mike Dean said this dude has been in the studio since he was like 3.
Yeah.
So he's been following his dad around this whole time. He might be a beast. And he said that what was dope was Scarface said, I'm going to play y'all one of his records, after we get off or whatever. And if y'all want to record it, that's cool. So he's trying to, throw his son a lot, which I think is dope as well. You hear Mike Dean, somebody like that, say, this kid is talented. He must be doing something right.
Yeah, Mike Dean's worked with a lot of people.
He has, man. He's just killing that synthesizer, bro.
Was that his origin story? Scarface and him?
Say that again?
You talking about Mike Dean's?
Is that Mike Dean's origin story?
Like the first artist he worked with?
Like big artist?
I'm not sure.
'Cause I've always wondered where he like originated and kind of came from,
But now Scarface was pretty much saying like a lot of these songs, Mike Dean was there making these songs with him. It's almost like he was like, I would play this and then Mike Dean would do what he does. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so I didn't know that him and Mike Dean worked together like that.
I didn't even know that either.
And from what Scarface was talking about, like Terry said, they've been together for a long time on a lot of these records that we love. I'm looking at his credits now, and
yeah, it's like mid-90s.
Okay, I got to do my research on Mike Dean.
Bushwick Bill, UGK, Willie D, Fifth Ward Boys. So yeah, he's been around.
So he must be from Texas then.
Yeah, it's a lot of Texas placements, if you will, on this list. No, shout out to Face, man.
Pimp C, yeah, he got stuff with Pimp C, Zero.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Oh, he's definitely in the mix then.
Yeah.
No,
I had no idea.
Buddy nice on them keys, though. I ain't gonna hold you.
He good.